Welcome to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. We've got a packed show today. Skip, Shannon, let's get to it. Welcome to Undisputed. We're live from Los Angeles. I'm Joy Taylor, here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Joy. How are you today?
Go ahead.
A little dress with pockets on, Skip. You notice the dress? Joy got pockets on the dress. Stay out of retail shops, Joy.
Yeah.
I don't want nothing in your pocket. You walk out the store and walk out there with you. How you doing, Skip?
You know, I saw my friend Kevin Hart.
Oh, now he yo. Well, look at here.
And you know what he was doing for me? He was doing his Uncle Shannon impression, and it was funny.
Oh,
it was
really?
funny.
Okay.
You have arrived. You are famous.
Oh, Kevin Hart got jokes, huh?
Yeah, he's got real jokes. It was funny.
Well, you know I'm gonna do my Kevin Hart impression.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cut my legs off.
Are you? Ooh.
You know, my bad, Joy. Joy, that slipped out, Joy. That slipped. Kevin.
That's petty.
Me and Kevin.
I didn't say
You know,
that.
it's an honor to be, you know.
Kevin Hart,
Have an
good
impression
people.
made of
I
you.
like Kevin Hart.
He is. How you doing, Shannon?
Oh, so you just now you Hollywood. Oh, you be all over the city.
I didn't stalk him. He just asked me to drop by.
Hold on. How am I stalking somebody if I just happen to be somewhere that he happens to be?
A lot of people. Less
Hey,
Shannon.
you know what, Skip?
No, that
You just-
restaurant's like,
happened to
Mr.
see
Sharpe, you
LeBron.
don't even eat sushi.
I do.
You're here every day. Just order a water.
Tonight's a
Some
big
tea.
night.
For who?
For your man. This is it.
What you mean this is it?
Career on the line.
Don't do that.
Legacy.
Come on,
Teetering.
You know you
Here we go.
Let's get started. We're jam-packed today. NBA champion Richard Jefferson and one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL, Casey Hayward of the Chargers, are both here in studio today. Big show, but let's start with the Cavs. They host the Pacers in Game 2 tonight after getting blown out in Game 1. LeBron had a triple-double on Sunday, but Victor Oladipo led the way with 32 points. Earlier this week, Ty Lue said LeBron needs to set the tone early. Shannon, who wins tonight?
Cavaliers. I expect them to play a lot better than what they played on Monday. I would not be surprised if J.R. Smith is not inserted into the starting lineup. And those shots that weren't falling on Sunday, when they were open, I believe those shots go in. Now, I don't think the Pacers are going to just roll over and like they're going to be content with just getting one game. They would love to have both of these games going home with a chance to close this series out on their home court. I don't believe LeBron James will allow that to happen. I believe he's on a mission tonight. He will show up. He will show out. And when this is all said and done, they're headed to Indy tied 1-1. But LeBron James will be nothing short of spectacular. You know that. I know that.
I don't know.
Miss Triple Dub will be in the building.
Okay.
They're going to win.
She's often in the building for L's, though. You understand that,
She just happened
don't
to
you?
be there for Sundays.
Oh, okay.
But she will return in a 30-plus point triple dub and a win tonight.
Okay. So the last 48 hours on this show, you have been talking big and bad and bold about what LeBron is going to do to those poor little underdog Pacers tonight. He's going to reassert himself and re-announce who the king of this series is.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt in anybody's mind. They know what he represents.
All right. So I think it's time to put your due where your mouth is, because this spread has ballooned up to 8. So it's Cleveland by 8. I'll take 8 right now. I'll take Pacers plus 8.
So that's what we do now? We give up points?
Yeah, well, we've done that a number of times.
No, only in football games.
Oh, okay. Well, this gets a little physical. I think it's going to be a physical battle tonight.
Straight up.
Straight up?
Y'all got
You don't
Victor-
have any guts
Hold
after
on.
all you've been talking about?
You guys have the LeBron stalker in Lance Stephenson.
He's the LeBron annoyer.
Yeah. That's not what you said yesterday.
I didn't say he's a stopper.
You got Victor Oladipo.
Yeah,
Ooh,
he's having
Depot.
a breakout
Two-way
year.
player.
Yep.
Better than George Paul.
He is, for them. Well, come on. You've been saying, Joy, yesterday, did you hear him talk about what death and destruction LeBron is going to wreak tonight on the poor Pacers?
Mayhem.
Huh? Well, come
Mayhem.
on. 8. All right. So, here we go. This is the question I have for you today, Shannon Sharpe. Was Sunday's Game 1 simply a question of the Cavaliers not making shots, or was it yet another question of the Pacers making yet another statement? They're just a better all-around basketball team than these Cavaliers.
Could that be possibly? Could that be possible? Yeah. Because that's not what you said. You said you make no excuses. Like LeBron James has no excuses. So if you're saying right now the Indiana Pacers are an overall basketball team, so it should be no problem.
I ask you a question because that's what it
Is that a
boils down
rhetorical
to
question?
me. No, it's a pointed question.
It deserves a yes or no answer.
No, it's an either-or answer. You have distilled this game down to if Cleveland just makes their shots.
Yes.
You're saying open shots need to fall.
Which they were the best team in the NBA looking open threes.
Okay. So is that what that game was about? Because I would lean a little more toward the other way, because I think the Pacers, as I've told you for 2 weeks on this show, are no fluke and no joke.
No. There are no bad teams in the playoffs.
6 games. Oh, there are occasionally bad teams in the Eastern Conference playoffs.
There might be some teams that are better than others, but you don't be bad. Now, once upon a time, I remember, early in the early 80s, say like 84 and 85, there was a guy that had a losing record that was also in the playoffs, but that's few and far between.
Yeah, you're talking about the guy who went 6-0.
Skip, I didn't say, why you keep saying that? I didn't say his name.
Yeah, well, I didn't either.
Yeah, you did.
I did not.
Well,
I just said the guy who went 6-0 in the NBA Finals. That could be anybody.
Oh, really?
That could be Joe Smith. I don't know.
Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
Oh, Scottie Pippen, they got kicked out the first round. But go ahead, make your point.
Wait, the guy I'm talking about had 6 Finals MVPs. Did Scottie have? He had 1, 2. No, he had 0.
Whoa! That's unnecessary, Skip. Taking shots at Scottie Pippen.
Very necessary.
You taking shots at Scottie Pippen, and he didn't do anything.
Yeah. So I ask you another question. These are off your radar kind of names, but there's this guy named Bogdanovich from the Indiana Pacers, and do you realize during the year he shot 40% from 3, and he was 1 for 6 on Sunday? There's this little guy, he's a little tiny guy, 6 feet tall, named Darren Collison. Guess what he shot from 3 during the regular season? 47%.
Yeah.
Guess what he shot on Sunday? He shot 1 for 4 from 3. So they're two. Wait, their 2 best 3-point shooters combined to go 2 for 10. Well, that's kind of like Cleveland-esque, right? What if those shots fall tonight?
If you don't mind me asking, if you watched that game very closely early on, can you tell me who was guarding Darren Collison?
I have no idea.
I do. 6'9", 255.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that might give you an indication.
That reminds me of the reverse of that. Was a game back, I don't know when it was, in December at Indiana, where Darren Collison wound up on LeBron James in the corner with the clock going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? Game that LeBron has in the palm of his hand, being guarded by a 6-foot-tall point guard off a switch, and LeBron drives the baseline, and cardinal sin. Darren Collison gives up the baseline, and LeBron James steps on the baseline, and the game's over. He
tried to get Skip. Stop it. You make it seem like the guy had a 2-foot lane. The guy he did step out of bounds.
Yeah.
But you made it seem like that Darren Collison didn't cut part of the baseline off. But this is what we do know. Following a loss in the playoffs, LeBron James is averaging almost 30 points a game.
Okay.
So that's what we do know. So we should expect that.
Put some dew on it. I'll take 8. You just said it. You're right.
You keep jugging.
History screams, take LeBron.
Bear hibernate.
Give the 8.
Bear was hibernating.
Give the 8.
You banging your drum. Okay, you got it. Do 8 points.
Yes. Thank you. Boom.
But I get tired. You
get tired?
Yeah, if it's 8 points on the head, I get the win.
I'll give you that. Okay. It should just be
No, it's got to be a win or a loss. Because normally, they normally have it 8.5 or 7.5, so that way we know.
So, as we also know, Sunday was the first time in LeBron James' career that he had ever lost a home game 1 of a first-round series.
Yes.
12-0 until Sunday. Now he's 12-1. That's interesting. So tonight, I would suggest to you that LeBron James is going to feel a different type of pressure than he has ever felt before, because he's never been in this situation. He's been in a whole lot of situations. He's been down 3-1 to Golden State in the finals, and he's been this and that and this and that, but he hasn't been this, because this is the hopeless underdog Pacers who have the classic opportunity to win a game in which nobody expects them to win because they have nothing to lose and everything to gain, right?
Yeah.
Okay? So LeBron's never had that kind of pressure where the world is saying, okay, LeBron, do it.
And he will.
Just step on them. Smash them. Just obliterate them. Put them back in their little places. Send them back to Indianapolis 1-1.
Well, that's not necessarily true that the Pacers don't have anything to lose. They have this game to lose, and they can lose this series. They're not just happy to be there.
But again, most people would say they stole one of the two games that they needed to steal. I don't think the Pacers think they stole it. I think the Pacers think they just flat out won it.
Yeah, they played really well in game one. I wouldn't necessarily say that was, well, I'm not necessarily. I'm not going to say they stole the game. They flat out beat the Cavaliers, but the Cavaliers did not play their best ball. That's not, you don't put that on Indiana and say, well, the Cavs didn't play their best. Who cares? We won the game. We did what we wanted to do. If Nate McMillan, he got game one. Now he's setting his sights on game two. If you tell Nate McMillan to start this season series, you're going to steal one of these games in Cleveland, he's like, I'll take it.
Sure.
Probably didn't imagine getting game one, but he got it. But I tell you.
I think he imagined. I do. I think he imagined.
Well, I imagine them going back to Indy tied 1-1. I also imagine them after game three, they'll be down 2-1. Yeah, you want to put due on that?
I'll see after tonight how I feel about that. I have to see how it goes tonight. But continuing on the direction I was heading, you realize this is a legacy series for LeBron James, because if he wins it, nobody will ever remember it in the grand scheme of things of his career, right?
Just like nobody remember those 3 first-round losses that first-round losses, not game, series. Nobody remembers that with Mike.
To the beasts of the East. Back when the East was by far the dominant conference. Hold on, not. You know it, and I know it.
You don't mind me asking. Now, this is what you like to tell me. If LeBron James is that guy, if he's the best player, he's got to win those games. You told me he was supposed to beat Golden State without Kyrie and Kevin Love because he's the best player. If that is true for LeBron James.
Remember, he was up 2-1 with game 4 in his house.
Yeah.
Best player on the planet? You know what I heard after he lost game 4, where he really came up small? Ran out of gas. Poor man ran out of gas. Iron Man ran out of gas?
If you don't mind me asking.
What?
When was the last time you saw Dele in a basketball game? When was the last time you saw Timofey Mozgov in a basketball game?
I think Dele ought to be in a game 3 because he should have been in game 2.
All I'm saying is that the 2 best players next to LeBron James in that series don't play a whole lot of basketball currently. So all I'm saying is if the best player is supposed to deliver his team from evil all the time, why don't we hold you-know-who to that same standard instead of making excuses saying, oh, the big 3 were so good.
Do you realize what opportunity LeBron squandered that night? Because if he can win that game single-handedly, do you know how much that would have vaulted him into the Michael Jordan conversation? If you go up 3-1, I think you can close.
He ain't got to win. He ain't got to win another one. He already in the conversation.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Says you.
No, says everybody.
No, says all the blind witnesses, not me. Don't put me in there.
Of course not.
So the flip side to this conversation is you understand if LeBron somehow loses this series, it will go down in infamy as a big stain on his legacy. That's what's teetering tonight. If you go down 0-2, again, some teams have come back, what is it, like 4-21 or something like in first round where you go down by 0-2. But still, against this team, if they go down 0-2, man, I don't know. I just don't think you can come back from that against these guys.
Oh, you don't think so, huh?
Well, you realize they've now won 4 out of 5 this year against the Cavaliers. So, again, no joke, no fluke. It just keeps on happening where they just keep saying, watch this, and they just look like the better team.
Why do you keep using the term pressure when trying to describe or depict LeBron James? Pressure is what you feel when you don't know what the hell you're doing.
Oh.
You trying to tell me LeBron?
Sometimes people who know what they're doing
No, you don't feel no pressure.
Huh?
What are the diamonds, Skip? A big old lump of coal that perform very, very well under pressure. That's what he is. 6'9" diamond.
A diamond has no mind or emotion.
Whoa!
Feel any
Don't
pressure.
try to steal my analogy.
Okay.
Don't try to rain on my parade. You did.
It didn't work. But it's
LeBron James under pressure is a diamond. That's how you get those things, Skip. Under pressure. He became the player he became under pressure. Really? And watch him rise.
So, I'm going to remind you one more time, the first quarter of Game 1 was the worst first quarter, plus-minus-wise, of LeBron James' entire postseason career. Think about that.
Yeah.
He's played a lot of basketball.
Yeah.
He was minus 19.
Minus 19.
And it tied for the worst postseason quarter that he's ever had in his history of the playoffs. Tied for Game 2 against Boston, first time around in Cleveland, in the third quarter. So that was a was a pretty horrible quarter.
Well, when I look at LeBron in that first quarter, if that's the worst that LeBron is going to be, I can live with it. I can live with it.
They lost 33-14, and the game was pretty much over.
Yeah, but when you go 0 for 8 from the three-point line and you turn the ball over 7 times, that's the recipe you get for a 19-point deficit at the end of. It could be any quarter, but the first quarter.
All right.
So it was big. The crowd was unable to really ever get in the game until late in the fourth quarter, and the Pacers withstood that.
So LeBron James himself was 0 for 4 from 3. So help me out. Predict. Put it on the line. Who will drop threes tonight for the Cavaliers, the snipers that they are?
JR.
JR's going to drop threes. Rodney
Kyle
Hood.
Korver.
Really?
LeBron James will be 3 for 5 from the three-point line.
Really?
Yeah, might even be better.
Really? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Might be 4 for 6.
4 for 6.
Maybe.
Second case of due on that. I'll take 4 for 6. I'll take 4.
How about this here? He'll make at least 4 threes.
No, 4 for 6.
No, yeah, exactly. He'll make at least 4 threes. No. That's what you gave me in Portland. Let's do that again.
No, I won't do that. I'll do 4 for 6 because you started it and I was going to finish it.
4 threes, LeBron James.
Okay, so.
And he'll go at least 85% from the free throw line.
I'm going to remind you, Kyle Korver has a bad foot, and he missed yesterday's workout with some sort of illness. So, I don't know, maybe he'll be back. That would be the guy I would trust the most to make threes in a game like this.
I would trust JR, because nobody can make bad shots. I want JR, if he's not falling out of bounds, if he's not stumbling, I don't want him to shoot the ball. If he's wide open, don't you shoot it, JR.
Do you realize how many days you have come in and sat in that seat and said, I don't ever want to see JR on the floor again?
No, JR has been playing really well.
Okay.
And he said it. You heard what he said the other day. Up until 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went to the tap removal place yesterday.
Oh, he did?
Yep. Getting it off.
He got 23 off?
Getting it off.
The red 23, the Bulls jersey 23?
Getting it done in wine.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Okay.
Little birdie told me.
Really?
I'm out here dry snitching, but my fault.
Okay. So are you sure Kyle Korver's going to be in the lineup tonight, or he only played 3.5 minutes on Sunday?
Well, maybe that has something to do with the injury.
Maybe.
But if he doesn't, I think the Cavaliers are plenty deep enough to get production. We need George Hill to give us a little something. Like I said, I would be shocked if we don't see a lineup change. You might see Calderon.
Maybe.
Jose!
Yeah.
Play a lot more than what he's been playing.
What was he, 0 for 3 from 3?
Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
I don't worry about it.
Kyle Korver 0 for 2.
Keep shooting them.
Keep
LeBron's going to keep giving you opportunities. You're going to have opportunities.
Yeah. Bogdanovich, keep shooting threes. Darren Collison, keep shooting threes. Lance Stephenson, keep shooting threes.
No, you won't. No, what you want Lance Stephenson to do is to keep annoying LeBron. That's what you want.
You know what? You missed the boat about Lance Stephenson, because what he does for his team is set a tone that LeBron didn't set for his team in Game 1. Because what I love about Lance is he sends the message, I'm not afraid of him. I'm not going to back down from him. I'm not going to genuflect. I'm not going to drop to my knees and say, it's yours, King. You own us. It's not how
he owns Lance Stephenson.
He does not.
Yes, he does.
So Lance Stephenson is really the only player in the NBA. No player in the NBA pays LeBron less respect than Lance Stephenson
does. That's all right,
Skip.
Huh?
No, am I right?
What?
Yeah.
He takes it.
Yeah.
He takes it. Everybody know Lance Stephenson be out there jack-legging, be out there bull-jiving with folks.
He will.
But that's okay.
He's going to hard foul him. He's going to distract him. He's going to just take a little mental pound of flesh from him. That's what he's going to do. Right. Yeah.
LeBron going to give him that quick elbow.
Okay. Yeah. LeBron can dominate him in the low post.
You can dominate him anywhere.
Really?
Low post, high post, hitching post. It doesn't matter.
Shooting threes.
Anything. There's nothing that Lance Stephenson can do that's better than what LeBron James can do. Really? That's fact.
The other fact is, Joy Taylor, that the Cleveland Cavaliers finished second to last in team defense. Second to last? So tonight's one of those games where you need to lock down, right?
And they gave up 98 points.
98 points to a team that is 23rd in pace. So for them, that was kind of what they do. They're usually right in that neighborhood. They averaged 106. So they were
That's 8 points below their average, and the Cavaliers was 30 a point below their average.
The Cavaliers scored 80 points.
Exactly.
They lost by 18 points.
Exactly.
So all I need to know is what was relative that you were minus 18 on the scoreboard.
I'm looking at it like this. The Pacers play their best, and the Cavaliers play their best. Who wins that game? Cavaliers. That's all I'm needing the Cavaliers to do. Indiana, do what you do. Cavaliers, play your game, and let's see what happens. How am I do in the morning?
The betting public is way on your side, way against me. I'm in trouble.
I don't pay attention. Who you think helped set the line?
Huh?
Me, Bravado, and Westgate.
How much did you put down on them? Yeah.
I wanted to go to a game 7.
Yeah.
So I can put me 100 bands down.
Really?
Yeah.
Backed by LeBron?
Don't worry about all that, Skip. See,
Secretly?
there you go.
Yeah, it's okay.
Why you worried about that?
You're $1 billion in the hole anyway. Is that wise?
Yeah. I'm be flashing my money like Floyd.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to loan it to you, right?
That's okay. You laughing today. You feeling real good. I know how you're feeling inside. I'm looking at you.
Yep.
You're glowing. You're beaming. You want to come in here and glow tomorrow, but you won't get that opportunity. I can assure you of that.
Well, if your team wins by 7, I got that opportunity.
No,
right?
you're not gonna glow.
Yeah.
And you and little Miss Red Riding Hood with her pockets on her dress over here, y'all key, but y'all go, yeah.
Red?
I know it's plum. But anyway, she got pockets on it like Little Red Riding Hood, and she over here key, and right alongside. See, she all happy because the Heat won a game. But don't worry about it. Joel Embiid's coming back.
Yeah.
Gonna silence that.
We'll see about that. No mercy. Hey guys, Joy Taylor here. More Undisputed is on the way, but first, a quick word about Buffalo Wild Wings. There's a new boss in town at Buffalo Wild Wings, and he deals in bacon. It's the Bacon Boss Burger, featuring bacon 3 different ways and a blanket of white cheese sauce. And he's joined by other new favorites, like the smothered cheesesteak quesadilla, sweet chili shrimp, and Alaska Cod Classic. All pair perfectly with a Sam 76, a fruity ale with the crisp finish of a lager. Hurry in today and try them all before they're gone at Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. Available for a limited time while supplies last. Please drink responsibly. No mercy. After Des Bryant was released by the Cowboys last week, he blamed, quote, Garrett guys for the move, which was believed to include the team's captains. Former Cowboy great Michael Irvin said Des even complained to him about Garrett guys. Irvin also said Des was too much of a, quote, fighter for the Cowboys and even fought with people trying to help him, which led to his release. One of the alleged Garrett guys, Jason Witten, addressed the situation yesterday. Let's take a listen.
So many great plays, so many great memories, and many days and evenings were spent on talking about routes and technique and the passion that he showed. So it was an emotional day for all of us.
Disappointing, though, that he blames Garrett guys and captains for playing a role in his departure.
Yeah, I don't know what all that's about. You know, I think I know when you go through these processes, there's a lot of things that probably go into it, but I know I enjoyed my time with Des, and I think that I appreciated everything that we were able to do. Certainly invested a lot in him, and he helped me become a better player too. And so I appreciate that time together. And look, I being the captain, and it's a huge honor for me and so many other guys, and I know what those guys' character is all about, and there's really nothing there.
Shannon, how much did Witten have to do with Dez's release?
Now, Skip, this is not the first time we've had a receiver say that they're Garrett's guys. Now, the only guy that's still there on the offensive side of the football that when T.O. was there is who, Skip? So even if he didn't say the name, one can deduce.
Yep.
If 2 receivers have said it, but here's where it gets brushed aside is that look at the receivers that we're talking about. Both could easily be viewed as malcontents. Skip, I don't believe Jason Witten had anything to do with this. It's hard for me to believe a player that's a non-quarterback can have another player ousted from a roster. It's just hard for me to believe that. I'm sure there were times when I was catching 13 or 10 balls, Ed and Rod probably thought I was a John guy. It happens. And for Michael Irvin to use the term a fighter's mentality, Skip, this is how it works. When you work with people and you work for someone, there's a decorum that you need to follow. Even in the testosterone-driven field of pro sports and the machismo macho of NFL football, Skip, you just can't, things are not going your way, lash out at people. You can't do that. I get it. The emotion is so raw, it's so hard for Dez to grasp. But it is so easy to blame others when things are not going right in your life. I just wonder how many times did Dez cut the tape on and watch and say, man, that's a bull jive route. Man, this is terrible release. Man, I got to give better effort on this dig out block. How many times, Skip, does Dez ask himself, what did he do wrong? Because it's easy to blame others when things are going wrong in our life. But what did he do wrong? Stop making these excuses for Dez. Dez, they left you at the exact same salary. In 2015, you got the new contract in 15. Your production slipped in 15, they left you alone. Yep. Your production slipped in 16, they left you alone. Your production was down in 2017 and they said bye-bye. Mm-hmm. I don't get it. Stop taking these pot shots and just move on. I don't get why you discussing, look, it's, maybe I'm just wired different, Skip. I'm wired different than these guys now. They're talking about this guy's fault, is that guy's fault. It's just hard for me to believe that Jason Witten had something to do with Dez Bryant being on that team. It had everything to do with Dez Bryant's production. Mm-hmm. Is his production down? Well, and Dez is looking at it like this. Jason Witten's production hasn't been up in a very long time. Cole Beasley was down. Mm-hmm. Terrence Williams was down. But they ain't have to give no money back. Mm. But Skip, stop blaming others. You could have made this moot if you go out there and ball like you believe you still can.
Yep.
We're not having this discussion, Skip.
No. So, I said yesterday, and now I'm going to say it even more strongly, I am mystified by how Garrett guys got a Garrett guy. Dez is a Garrett guy. Yeah. Trust me. 1/4 of the balls thrown last year by Dak Prescott went to 88. 1/4 of the offense went to him, the passing game. That's a lot of passing.
Yeah.
So let's just compare Dez to, let's do Jason Witten. So last year, Dez had 132 targets to Jason Witten's 87 targets. Well, Jason Witten is kind of a comfort blanket, you know,
yeah.
Like he's a security
It's not
blanket.
like he's going way downfield, no. Skip. He's right there close to the line of scrimmage.
So it's easy to target him a lot. So 132 to 87, except Dez caught 52% of his 132 targets. Jason Witten caught 72% of his 87 targets. So production.
Yeah.
Okay. So one guy was catching a whole lot of his balls, the right number of his balls. The other guy was really hurting you because you kept going to that well, and it was a dry well.
Right.
52% of those balls were caught. So I'm mystified over a guy, and again, I know a lot of Dallas Cowboys, a lot of ex-Dallas Cowboys, and all I ever heard was that Jason Witten went out of his way to mentor Dez, to big brother Dez, that he liked Dez. He liked his fight.
Yeah.
He liked what he was made of. And there was that classic game back in 2013. You might remember this one because it was a classic. Mm-hmm. Brandon Yu's car, his first year with the Cowboys, was attempting to cover Megatron in Detroit as Megatron was going for a grand total of 329, which became the second most yards any receivers ever had in a single game to Flipper Anderson's, what, 336?
Yeah, 336.
Right? So during that game, Dallas blew a lead of 27-17 with 4 minutes left in the game, and Detroit wound up winning game 31-30. And the classic footage on the sideline was Dez is throwing a tantrum about God knows what, and Jason goes over and just grabs him and says, "Just look at the scoreboard. Look what's happened." It said 31-30 with the clock ticking down. And he was trying to say, hey, it's okay. It doesn't matter. We just need to try to win the game. Right. You'll be okay.
Right.
Don't worry about you. Worry about us. That was a vintage shot of Jason Witten. And again, does Jason Witten have his flaws and faults? I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
I'm not over-defending him, but he's a really good football player and has been for a long time. Now let's go back to the classic T.O. episode. Mm-hmm. So Terrell, also lashing out, decided that Tony Romo was throwing too many balls to his boy. And again, a very close friend of his, and the wife and girlfriend were very close also. Remember, they went to Cabo together.
Right.
Remember that in those days? So Terrell went public with the fact, I think Romo's throwing too many balls to Jason Witten. Right. And Terrell went to, we got another Todd Haley reference here. He pops back up in the conversation because at this point he was the Cowboys receivers coach. Right. And Terrell went to complain to Todd Haley, and they got in a shouting match over this that allegedly almost came to, you know how Todd Haley is. He wants to fight too. So the story I was told by an eyewitness Dallas Cowboy was that afternoon, Terrell Owens walked onto the practice field and Jason Witten marched right over to him and said, let's settle this right here, right now, as in, let's just go. Let's just throw down right here. And I've asked Terrell about this twice on live TV, and he did not deny that it happened, but my eyewitness said Terrell wanted no part of Jason Witten.
Skip, here's the thing I have a problem with. So was Jason Witten on the roster, Skip, in 2013 when Dez had 1,300 yards?
Okay, you didn't respond to my story about Jason Witten.
Skip, let me tell you about this here, Skip. Jason Witten didn't want those kind of problems. Now, you heard about what happened in the story in Philly. He goes to a different place.
Who?
T.O.
Yeah.
Skip, listen to me, Skip. Now, I bull jive a lot, and I shuck and jive and talk about guys throwing up. Listen to me. I'm going to take my glass off, Skip, because I want you to be running up there. Jason Witten did not want those kinds of problems with that young man. He's a different animal, Skip. When he goes there.
Wait, who's a different animal?
T.O.
T.O., yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
You heard the story about what happened in Philly. It was not pretty. I've been around T.O. and I talked to him, and he's a guy, Skip. If you're in his corner, you'll always be in his corner. But if he ever feel that you slighted him or wronged him, you will have a problem with him. Skip, I don't know Jason that well, and he strikes me as a guy that he is. He'll try to help you. He'll try to give you his laugh. He didn't want those kind of problems with T.O. And the thing was, Skip, he felt that because Tony Romo and Jason Witten were roommates, that they were working on plays secretly that was not in the game plan. And then T.O. was like, hold on, we didn't practice that. How? What? And so T.O. goes to Todd Haley trying to voice it. Well, Todd Haley bucks up. Come on, Skip. Now, Todd Haley had a run-in with Anquan Bolden.
He did.
Now you know Q. If you can't get along with Q, you can't get along with nobody.
That is a fact.
If you can't get along with him, T.O. is a type of guy. If you confront him, you know what he's going to do, Skip. So for me, I don't know if there's any truth. There's been two receivers that have voiced said Jason Witten is a Garrett guy. Okay, be that as it may, I do not believe that Jason Witten, I don't care if he's the brother-in-law to Jason Garrett. I don't believe he could have got Dez off that team. The only person that could have got Dez off that team is one man, Skip, and he's made it abundantly clear. The buck stops with me.
Yep.
That's Jerry Jones.
Yep,
Skip,
I agree.
if Jerry wanted Dez on that roster, because I can assure you, when they saw that decline in production, they've gone to Jerry before this year and says his production is declining, Dad. His production is declining, boss. And Jerry left his salary alone.
I just want to make it clear. From what I know of Jason Witten, and I don't know him well, but I know a lot about him from a lot of people, he is not the kind of guy who will smile to your face and stab you in the back. I think he's straight up what he is. He'll tell you if he has an issue with you, and if you have an issue with him and you push it too far, he's the kind of guy who'll say, okay, that's enough. Let's just go at it
I think the thing is that Tony had a comfort level with Jason Witten. And most of the quarterbacks that's been in Dallas has had a comfort level.
Well, he's a pretty good player.
Yeah,
he's only made 8 Pro Bowls.
Yeah,
11 Pro Bowls. I'm sorry, 11 Pro Bowls.
You don't catch all those balls. You don't play as long as he does and be as productive as he does without being a damn good football player.
Oh, well, also without having a relationship with your quarterback.
Yes, Skip. You don't think great combinations? Antonio Brown has a great rapport. Most combinations have. You don't think Gronk has a great rapport with Tom Brady?
Yeah, he does.
Exactly.
But we all know what this came down to. I mean, look at Dez and Jason Witten's numbers from last year. Dez had 66 receptions, 814 yards, 6 touchdowns. Jason Witten had 63 catches, 560 yards, 5 touchdowns. Yeah, but it's completely comparable. The difference is Dez was making $13 million and Jason Witten was making $7.4.
But it's sad, though. But I've never seen a guy that gets released and it's caused this hubbub and it's blamed everybody else. Players on the team.
I mean, Jason Witten should be flattered. He has a lot more power around Dallas than he thought he did.
Skip, that, you know what? That C on his chest bothers Dez a lot more than we previously thought. I mean, that might have been the worst thing that could have happened.
Maybe.
Because, normally you see guys, okay, that's the captain, you go out there for the coin toss. And a lot of teams send different guys out there. They send the offensive player of the week or the defensive player of the week and special teams player of the week out for the coin toss.
That's true.
But now we got that C.
Yep.
And Dez, he's like, hold on. Dude, I've been here 9 years. I've been here 8 years.
Yep.
This dude just got here. And he got the C? But they're trying to tell you something,
By the
Dez.
way, this morning I started looking at Jason Witten's career numbers versus Shannon Sharpe's. He's in the Hall of Fame. And they're like, wait, do you realize how you trailed Jason so far? He's caught 2,388 more yards of passes than you caught.
And how many more passes he caught to me?
337.
So how many more touchdowns he got to me?
6.
6 touchdowns.
Yeah.
With 330-something more passes. Huh, Joy? Now, if you don't mind me asking, that you go down there to the playoff side.
I don't have the playoffs. I just
Why you ain't got that?
I didn't look that far.
I thought you liked playoffs.
I didn't think it was going to come
I thought
up.
you liked playoff football.
No mercy.
The Warriors and Rockets are clearly the top 2 teams in the West. Houston can take a 2-0 lead against the Timberwolves tonight, while Golden State is already up 2-0 against the Spurs, and they've done it without Steph Curry. We're joined once again by Richard Jefferson. Richard, should the Warriors still be the favorites in the West?
Yes. And it's not even close. They should be the favorite, not in the West, in the NBA. You look at it, they've been to the finals 3 straight times. They've won 2 out of 3 championships. They were a shot away from winning 3 straight championships. And Houston has to still get there. Houston, you have your second best player that's never played in the conference finals. You have James Harden, who has been one of the top players in the NBA the last, 5 years and, probably will win the MVP. But they haven't proven anything.
Right.
So you're going to tell me that the defending champion and the 3-time finalist, because you won 5, 6 more games than them over the regular season, now you're the favorite? I'm not taking that bet. Now, can Houston beat them? Without a doubt. Will they? If I was a betting man, I would bet on Golden State all the way.
Yeah. I don't believe they can beat them if Steph Curry is healthy. And I've said this, I like the matchup, and Daryl Morey has built this roster trying to be able to compete, try to outshoot Golden State. But Kevin Durant is the Warriors' best player. Steph is the most important.
Agreed.
The likelihood of all 3 of those guys, because what we're seeing now without Steph, Klay Thompson is going bonkers.
Yeah.
And that's why, in San Antonio, yeah, they're undermanned. But you can't let both of those guys, if Kevin gets 40, you can live with that because it's hard to stop him. But you can't let Kevin go get 32 and then Klay go get 34. You're not going to win. And then you throw Steph back into that lineup. Steph is constantly moving. There are teams that some teams take bad shots. Kevin, Steph, and Klay, there's not a bad shot. 30 and in is a great shot for them. And he's constantly moving, Skip. And so when shots aren't falling, they still got a guy and 7 foot tall, that monster that you go down there and put his back to the basket and he can shoot over everybody in the NBA. And that's what they did last year, because there were times you guys were making comebacks. In Game 5, every comeback, KD snuffed it out. Because even when KD said, I don't care what y'all
He's the best player on the planet. We all know that.
Jeff, you look at it. Jeff, go ahead. Jeff, go ahead. Tell it, Jeff.
Wait. Who was the Finals MVP?
No, Jeff.
Help me out.
I want Jeff to tell you.
Maybe it was Richard. I can't. No, wait a second.
That's so funny, because I remember when Karl Malone won the MVP and then Jordan, murdered him in the finals. Kevin Durant had the best finals, right? And it's amazing. You say who was finals MVP. LeBron did something that had never been done in the history of our game. He averaged a triple-double. Now.
You lost in 5 games?
Yeah, we lost in 5 games. Now, that big shot that he hit, that dribble-up 3 that he hit, Kyle Korver, one of the greatest shooters in the history of this game, has a corner 3, doesn't go in.
How many of those has he shot in a pivotal game? What was that, 3 or? Yeah.
I think it was the right play. We tip our hats to them.
Wait, you've been raving about LeBron James being the MVP this year. If he has the ball in his hands, and certainly on the play with Iguodala, you just take him to the rack. You just.
But Iguodala,
but you make and that's the thing. You make the right play. You make the right play. You make the right play, and the right play. And I'm gonna be honest. It wasn't like he threw it to me in the corner. It wasn't like he threw it to.
How many times has Kyle Korver shot that shot?
I think Kyle Korver has shot that shot enough right? Not in that moment, but how many times has KD hit that shot that he hit right after? KD had not hit that shot many times because KD had never been he'd only been in the finals one time, and he lost to Bron.
And
right?
KD said, it's my turn,
and
I got next.
But you can't judge who is the best player on the planet off of one season. It's a body of work. And the body of work this year for Bron is more impressive than KD. Right, so you can't say, "Oh, well, he outdueled him." Now there is, other things going on, but
no, I don't know about the body of work because there is this thing called defense, and LeBron plays none of it anymore, and it bothers me. It offends my eye to watch him not play defense. He plays center field. He stands under the basket in the middle of the lane and just plays free safety.
We say this, and James Harden is the favorite for the MVP.
Okay. But in defensive win shares,
we say this.
Individual defensive win shares. James Harden's like 40th. LeBron's 310th.
Win shares, defensive win shares. But you talk that's a tough one for me to And look, even Steph Curry, right? One of the best defensive teams in this league, percentage-wise, amazing. They spend an entire game in series hiding him. He doesn't guard his position consistently. We put him in pick and roll every single play. Didn't matter. And if I'm in the corner, they tried to put him on me, I would go stand on the block and make him try and box me out in case a shot goes off. So to say that Bron is not the best player on the planet, now Kevin Durant is not far off. James Harden, not far off.
But Kevin Durant plays defense because he did become their rim protector, especially last year.
And I think a lot of it has to do with the Golden State system. With the Golden State system, where you talked about how they move. One of the things that Kevin said was that it took him a while to understand what they needed him to do on the offensive end. He said in Golden State where movement is mandatory. Movement is mandatory. Even Kawhi Leonard, who, I know he's had an up and down year. Kawhi Leonard has never had 8 or more assists in his career. Never had 8 or more assists in career. Kawhi's job is to defend and to score the ball. We don't have to, because the Spurs system is going to get shots for everyone else. Bron has to step on the court and say, I got to get you a shot, I got to get you a shot, I got to get you a shot. Then I got to score 25 points myself. And I got to rebound the ball.
So I'm not going to defend.
I'm not saying I'm not going to defend. It's just trying to do everything all the time and then to pick something to be critical of him. I
know, but it's not just something to be critical. It's half the game to me, and it's
more than half.
It's more than. I agree.
More than half.
But nobody has had to have on his plate in the history of the game.
But he was born gifted passer. He's the best passer in basketball to this day. There's nobody better. Nobody anticipates, feels, sees it better than LeBron does. That's his gift. Yeah. But you have to play both ends if you're going to win championships. And right now, his team, thanks in large part to him, is second to last in team defense. That's not the formula. That's not the recipe for winning championships.
Agreed, and that's why their team is in the 3rd spot. And it's not just him. I think it's collectively as a team.
I agree.
You look at our team in the prior 2 years, right? We fired David Blatt. Then last year we weren't great, but as soon as we got to that postseason, our defensive mindset changed because you had guys that had been in that fire, and it's like, all right, here we go. Let's turn. And it's not flipping a switch, but it's like I have another level. It's like, do you have another level of defense? Do you have another level of focus? And that's what each round of the playoffs, first round, each game in each round, the level of focus continues to improve. And I think for Bron, I think he plays better defense. But I think for him also, we used to do this with many years ago. Jason Kidd had the responsibility of guarding Tony Parker in the finals. And it was a struggle. It was a struggle because Tony's running around. J. Kidd has to facilitate for everyone on our team. And so what did we do? We decided to put Kerry Kittles on Tony Parker, and then we put Jason Kidd on Bruce Bowen. Let you rest a little bit. You're going to have to do so much for everyone. So if you're burning yourself out on defense, then our offense is going to suffer. Everything. You're going to suffer. So it's happened over the course of the NBA. It's happened over the course of my 15,
we have seen moments back in LeBron's younger days when he took Tony Parker and took him out of the game in a finals game. I've witnessed why I said, that's unbelievable.
And he had D. Wade, and he had other guys, and he had other guys and Chris Bosh, he had other guys that can carry that load. Mike Miller, Shane Beck. He had other guys that can hit shots, create shots, and do things. It's like, hey, I'm going to take this guy out, D. Wade. D. Wade, you need to create and score for everyone else.
Back to the first thing you said on this show today, At some point, you have to slow down Oladipo because he's serious. He has arrived. This was his breakout year. He's not LeBron James. He's not a superstar, but he is a star in this league.
Yes, he is.
That team is 6 games better than it was with Paul George as the solo star of the team.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you look at the rest of the team, and they're pretty good because they're extremely well coached, and they're not afraid of the Cavaliers because they've beaten them 4 out of 5 times. So as second games of the playoffs go, this is a pretty big deal tonight because you don't want to go 0-2 back to where you said the crowd is pretty rough, right?
Yeah, Indiana's a good place.
So this is just me. If LeBron is still that guy in his 15th season, for stretches tonight, he says, I got Oladipo. And I know it's a lot to ask, but you're still telling me he's the best player on the planet. He can guard Oladipo if he puts his mind to it. I believe he looks great. He's in great condition.
But he is. But to your point, would we say James Harden go guard Oladipo? That's what your team needs. Would we say Kevin Durant go guard Oladipo? No, we would not.
Or go guard Anthony Davis.
And even if they did, even if they said, Kevin, we need you, who could be, before his injuries, he was up there for Defensive Player of the Year. I think it's Rudy Gobert. So he was up there for that. So if we're like, Kevin, we need you to go do this, it's fine because he got Steph that's going to hit shots. He got Clay, that guy. He's got all these guys. Like, yo, if that's what you guys need me to do to sacrifice for this series, if Bron sacrifices that for this series, who else
gonna
on
score
that
or
team?
facilitate?
And again, I like all of the Cavs roster. Kevin Love. I love the roster that they put together, and I believe that these guys will play well. I think before the series over, we're going to see Tristan Thompson because Tristan, who has been out of the rotation, he knows what it takes.
He does.
And now you have an opportunity with everything that's going on and you not being in the rotation to now come in and play in this game and have an impact. I think this, as the series progresses, I think you have an opportunity to play him and be like, hey, we're going to go with guys that have been in this fire that understand these moments.
He got some problems.
Well, but hey, I'll tell you what.
No,
he's got. But at the end of the day, you know this. Sometimes all of that stuff goes on. The court and the field can be where you.
Tristan in the lineup tonight. Tristan gonna get us 15 rebounds tonight.
He might.
Yeah, man.
I'm not saying tonight. I just think before this series is over, before this playoff before is over.
No mercy. Tom Brady is on vacation with his family in Qatar and was even seen cooking footballs on the beach. Now Adam Schefter is reporting that Brady still has not committed to playing next season. Brady will be 41 when the season starts and has not been at Patriots offseason workout the program that started this week. A source told ESPN, quote, my money would be on him playing football for the foreseeable future. Shannon, what's your reaction?
To see Tom Brady kicking that football on a beach in Qatar while his team started off-season conditioning on Monday, he just sent a 6'4" giant foam middle finger to Coach Belichick.
I agree.
Said, this is what I think about your off-season conditioning program. I thought after watching episode 6 of Tom versus Time, I thought it was abundantly clear that Tom Brady still had the passion, he still had the drive, the burning desire to go out and compete at the highest level. So for me, I thought it was a no-brainer. I mean, we hear nothing about there was a possibility that he might not play. Now, I hope in his old age he's not starting to pull a Brett Favre on me, waffling in between, skipping, just wanting to show up at training camp and be ready to go. And I tend to think that Tom Brady is going to play football in 2018. But I also believe that Tom Brady is going to be less and less visible during the offseason when it becomes Patriot-related matters. So I'm not surprised by this, and they can send out all the statements they want. We're going to talk about a team that released a statement that says the coaching staff and the organization and Joel Embiid is on the same page. Mr. Kraft released that statement that he and Coach Belichick and Tom Brady is as unified as they've ever been. I don't think anything is further from the truth.
Yep.
And we see it more and more, Skip. This thing is not looking good. These are two fast-moving trains. They're going in different directions, but they seem to be on a collision course.
So, quick point about Brett Favre. The reason Tom Brady will never turn into Brett Favre in the context you talk about is, if in fact Tom Brady is going on with his career, his entire modus operandi is based on perfect, immaculate timing with his receivers. So Tom Brady isn't going to show up for game number 1 without putting in heavy off-season time throwing to those
I was
receivers.
saying, no, he would not show up for like OTAs and mini camps, but be ready to go training camp.
But Brett was to the point at a certain point where he just wanted to play maybe a little bit of the last preseason game and then let's just go.
Yeah.
Because he didn't care about rapport and timing and wavelength and connection with his receivers.
Because a lot of his stuff was improvised.
It was. He thought he could just make it up on the fly and just pull it off because he was Brett Favre.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
And obviously, he had a little bigger arm than Tom Brady has ever had. Now, one other quick aside before I get to Adam Schefter. Did you see Tom Brady kick that football? Seriously. Did you?
His feet work. We know he can't catch.
Well,
oh, my bad.
Yeah, well, see, you're trying to change the subject off something that was shocking to me because did you see the form on the place kick? Did you see the soccer style? Did you see him kick it barefooted with the instep? Do you know how hard that is to do?
That's not that hard.
It is very hard.
I get a football right now and kick it.
You could not kick it. You could not. You would go straight on Lou Groza toe kick.
I'll kick it. It might not split the uprights.
Well, that would have been good from 40 yards. He kicked it 20 yards over his kid's head on the beach out of the sand. I mean, barefooted.
It might be like those last kicks that Carpenter was doing.
Did you see the?
I mean, Dan Bailey.
The Dan Bailey? Yeah. Well, in
fact, your guy.
I don't know. Maybe Tom was auditioning for Goskowski's job. Maybe he wants to do a George Blanda. Remember how long George Blanda played for the Oakland the Raiders? That went on. What was he like?
48.
48. But he was place kicking, right?
Yeah.
He was kicking straight on.
I don't know if anybody gonna play those 25 years like he did,
I don't
Skip.
know. I don't
but
know.
Here's the thing, Skip. Look, Tom Brady loves Alex Guerrero. Alex Guerrero is not allowed on Patriots property anymore. Well, I shouldn't say property, team facility. How about that? Now, if I want to train with him and I love what he's doing and he's not allowed at the Patriots facility, where did that leave me, Skip? That leaves me, okay, I guess I just do my own thing until I have to do my thing with you guys, and then I see you. Tom Brady doesn't need, I'm sure he has a workout incentive. You think $250,000 is going to move Tom Brady one way or another? See, Skip, the thing that Coach Belichick always had in his pocket is that the guy to the left always showed up. He always told the company line. So, Skip, if the best player, arguably one of the best players to ever play this game, if he will toe the company line, if he's where he's supposed to be at all given times, how can anybody else get out of line and not toe such said line?
Yep. So, back to Adam Schefter's report. I consider Adam Schefter a friend. I've known him for a long time. He covered you when you were with the Denver Broncos.
We actually came in at the same time. He got to Denver, started writing in 1990. I got in 1990.
I bet you kissed right up to him, didn't you?
Yeah, we were good,
little protection in the newspaper, right?
Well, hey, I was seventh round draft pick. He couldn't offer me no protection.
Okay, all right.
That's a diamond in the rough, Dan.
Well, I'm here to say Adam Schefter is no sensationalist.
No.
I worked for years around him and occasionally with him on stories, and certainly with his editor, Chuck Solitoro, on a lot of stories, and they do not splash and dangle clickbait. They just don't play that game.
No.
So I believe that Adam Schefter believes where there's a little bit of smoke here, there could be a raging story of the year bonfire in the NFL concerning Tom Brady, maybe saying, you know what, I'm just tired of playing for that guy because he wanted to replace me. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
It became clear, thanks to another ESPN bombshell, that Bill Belichick wanted to replace Tom Brady going into next year.
Yeah.
Well, does that not sort of cut the cord? Does that not make it where you've been together for 18 years and you say, really, that's it?
Yep, something big had to cause this type of friction. We've never seen anything like this before from that organization.
Nope.
So for this to get to where it is now, and Tom Brady making posts and taking little pot shots here and there at Coach Belichick, so we know that there is some validity to the distrust. And see, Tom Brady had no problem with Coach Belichick doing what was in the best interest of the team. He had the ultimate faith in Coach Belichick and that organization until Coach Belichick was coming knocking on his door, say it was your time. And then all of a sudden what's best for the team ain't what's best for me, so you and I gonna butt heads. And I believe that Tom Brady went to Mr. Kraft. I believe Mr. Kraft ordered Coach Belichick. I believe Coach Belichick is very, very upset that Mr. Kraft made him do it, because up until that point, Skip, I feel very comfortable in saying Coach Belichick has had total autonomy. Guys came and went because that's what Coach Belichick deemed that was appropriate. And this was the one time, and I don't believe Coach Belichick let it go. He didn't let it go.
So, Tom Brady has missed these off-season conditioning programs, which are officially unofficial. They're not obviously mandatory or required. He has missed them in the past 2 or 3 different times, but not lately.
No.
And now, not only does he miss, but over the weekend, they're in Qatar, and they're going to one function after another, and they are posting Instagram picture after picture after picture, and messages are being sent. I'm having a lot of fun with my family. I've neglected my family over these years, and now I'm paying my family back. And so I think messages are being sent to Robert Kraft that, you know what, this isn't as fun as it used to be.
Yeah, you need to talk to him. If y'all want me to come back, you need to talk to him. Skip, he got that big old metal foam finger up. I mean, because I'm trying to figure what part of being on the beach kicking a football is in your commitment. Now, you said you had a commitment. He was over there with his, I guess, a part of his foundation. Where does the beach fit in? And then you post it.
There's a lot of camel riding going on.
Skip.
Seriously.
You post that. Your teammates are back in New England. They're conditioning. And you've been there. Granted, okay, he's missed 2008, 9, and 10, part of the offseason program. This is Tom Brady's 19th year. Now, I'm a guy, I never showed up. I mean, I had that type of relationship with Mike.
I know, but you had set a tone that you were going to condition yourself.
Correct. So for people like, well, he's missed, 2008, 9, 10. Yeah, he's missed 3 times in the previous 18 years. So what does that tell you? They can all the deodorant they want to. It still smells, Skip.
I know what it points to. It's still, I told you yesterday, it's pointing harder and harder toward either or. Mr. Kraft, do you want Tom Brady or do you want Bill Belichick? I believe Tom Brady wants to play 3 or 4 more years. Does he want to play for that guy? I think not. It's starting to scream, I just don't want to play for that guy anymore.
Because I believe Coach Belichick has grinded this football team from 2000 when he got the job all the way to now. See, the grinding bothers me. If you've been grinding me down all these years, and now I'm almost down to the nub, and now you want to get rid of me.
Look, when the quarterback goes with the grinding, it sets the tone for the whole team, saying, like never saying a discouraging word about the coach or the grinding, like he's grinding just as hard as the coach is grinding, then everything's going to work in the locker room. But if the quarterback starts to rebel, then you told the story yesterday. If you're the team leader and you start to say, I'm not buying this.
If John said it was hot, Skip, it's hot out here, man.
It's hot?
Hey, he the leader. He said it's hot. Yeah, it is hot out here, John. I don't know. We might, whew.
And now everybody's starting to say, wait a second. Malcolm Butler didn't play a single snap? What was that about? Was that genius or sabotage? Grudge? I don't know.
This thing is, Tom got old middle finger up. So hold on. So what you think of Mr. Brady right now? Is he being petty? Because I could imagine, Joy, if somebody wasn't in training camp and they was off when everybody else is conditioning and they happen to be somewhere booed up with Miss Savannah James, that would be a problem, Joy. That would be a problem.
Yeah, but one guy has proven to be the greatest quarterback ever, and the other guy's the third or fourth best player ever.
One guy's proven he's the greatest small forward ever.
Oh, really?
And one of the top players. Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback. Now, so what?
So what? Well, has any of LeBron's coaches, because he's always been the head coach.
No, he's not. Stop.
No coach has ever rebelled against LeBron James, except David Blatt made the mistake of calling a play for Kyrie at the end of the Chicago playoff game that LeBron finally said, no, sorry.
Coach Spo bailed against him. That's why we had to nudge him coming off the court to let him know we shot him a quick bow. And we had no more problem with Coach Spo moving forward.
Right in his play.
We shot him a quick bow just to let him know. Sometimes you got to do that, Skip.
Just let him know that he's really that
nobody even saw that. They said, well, he bumped into him accidentally. There ain't no accidents. No.
We'll remember this next time that we say assistant coach Ty Lue and you get upset.
No, it wasn't no Ty Lue. Ty Lue is the head coach. Bron James is in an advisory role.
Well, now as the leader of the greatest franchise in pro football, Tom Brady, he's trying to take back the franchise that he runs.
He's bucking.
Yeah.
So guess what? When the head guy starts bucking, guess what? A lot of other guys going to try to show but he got too much power, Skip. Right now, he still has a lot of power.
Who, Belichick?
Coach Belichick, yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm on Brady's side. I told you what I would do. If I ran this franchise, I would just send Coach Belichick into the sunset.
Nope. I'm on Coach Belichick. Yep. He's been this way for 20 years. And now, all of a sudden, he's rubbing people the wrong way. No, he's been rubbing people the wrong way. But the one person he hasn't rubbed the wrong way is the very person that he's rubbing the wrong. He's chafing. Now is you know who, and he doesn't like it.
He made the mistake of falling in love with the new guy.
Yeah.
Yep, his guy.
Jimmy G was going to deliver from evil for the next 10 years.
Oh, really?
That's what Jimmy G was going to do.
Let's see how that works.
No mercy. After the Sixers lost Game 2 to the Heat on Monday, Joel Embiid posted that he was bleeping sick and tired of being babied. Embiid is still recovering from a broken orbital bone. Philly head coach Brett Brown would not say if Embiid would play in Game 3 tomorrow, but he said everyone is on the same page. Let's take a listen.
It's still, moving forward. What I can say is there is a very unified effort with his representation and the people around him, with the people that did the operation, the doctors, with our medical staff, with the team, with me, the coaching staff. We're all doing this like there's a unified sort of spirit and line of communication.
We're joined by FS1 NBA analyst Chris Broussard. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How soon do you think Embiid will play?
I mean, look, none of us are doctors. We have to wait and see on that. Obviously, he has to go through contact in terms of practice. Yesterday, he practiced, went through some drills. If he goes through contact today, then he'll probably play Thursday. Look, I wouldn't be surprised, and I think it might be smart if Philadelphia erred on the side of caution and maybe wait till Saturday in Game 4 to play him. Let's look at this, the unified part. I do believe Brett Brown. Now, I believe Embiid is frustrated. He's upset. He's ultra competitive. He had no problem after Game 1 when they won. It was Game 2 when they lost. He knew he could have made a difference. So that's all this is. It's a young, sometimes immature guy voicing his opinion. But believe that Brian Colangelo, the president, Brett Brown, the coach, Leon Rose, Embiid's agent, they are in cahoots, on the same page, working this thing out. And they have to be careful because people are saying it's not a knee, it's not an ankle, get out there and play. This is the second eye injury he's had to that left eye. When he was at Kansas, he got hit in practice. He played, he wore goggles, but he played. I'm just saying the eye is not something to fool around with, especially if you've been injured there twice. You could end up with double vision if you get the wrong type of shot there. And Miami does have big physical, sometimes flailing players, a Kelly Olynyk, a Hassan Whiteside, a James Johnson. So, I'm just saying if he's ready and cleared for Game 3, great. But don't rush him back, and I really don't think they will.
I think it looks to me that Philly is more concerned with the next 10 years as opposed to the next 10 weeks. And you mentioned that Amari Stoudemire. Amari Stoudemire was forced to wear goggles. Kareem basically wore them his entire career because he got poked in the eye and ended up having to wear them. Skip, he's their best player. And when the shots aren't falling, he's a guy, go get on the block, they can dump it down to him, and nobody has an answer for him. And what we saw from Game 1, they were hitting shots, Skip. We knew they couldn't keep that up. You can't keep falling out of bounds, throwing up 28-foot shots and swishing. Now they came back. Ilyasova was terrible. Bellinelli couldn't get anything to fall. Covington couldn't get anything to fall. J.J. Redick couldn't get anything to fall. So now they've turned themselves into a three-point shooting team. And when shots won't fall, they got to keep shooting, hoping they fall, as opposed to having Embiid on the court. Skip, they're outscoring people by 11 points per 100 possession when he's on the court. They're better in every statistical category with him on the court as opposed to him being off the court. But they got too much invested in him. Your first 3 years, Joel, you played 31 games. Now, you bump that up to 63 this year, they're gradually taking off the training wheels. And then you got this freak injury. Granted, trying to set a pick, the guy bobbled the ball, hit you with his shoulder, fracture your eye. For me, I had this very injury, Chris, to my left eye. Now, I missed the final 3 weeks of the season. Now, the doctor told me it was going to be somewhere between 3 and 6 weeks. It would have been interesting to see had I done it at the beginning of the year or the middle of the year, Skip, to see if I could have come back and played. I did end up playing in the Pro Bowl that year, but that 7 weeks had passed. So it would have been very, very interesting to see had I could I have played. But Skip, they need him. They can't win this series without him.
You don't think they?
I don't believe they can.
I think they could. I'm not saying they would, but I think they could, and they could certainly win Game 3. And even if you lose Game 3. It's 2-1. Right. They still have to beat you 2 more times, presumably with your best player.
So you just sit him out Thursday and then play him Saturday?
If there's any question. Okay. You know, if he's cleared and ready and the doctors are like, he's good, then I'd play him Game 3.
They can win the series without him.
You believe they can?
Yep, but they need him now because he clearly wants to play now. And I don't think this is childish overreaction on his part. I just think he sat on the bench thinking, I'm 100% right. I'm going to have to wear this mask, but I can do this. And I'm going to remind you, we're not talking about an internal eye injury. You've had this. It's external. It's like a facial bone injury more than it's an internal eye injury. You know, like what he got swiped in the eye at Kansas. Well, that's really dangerous because it's inside. Yeah. Okay, I got that. But this wasn't that. Yeah. And again, you made this point, but it's not his foot that they're scared to death of. They think he's a ticking time bomb just with his foot because he's got the, you know,
big man disease,
Bill Walton or whatever, you know, where it could prematurely end his career. They are, it's terrible. All of the 7
Rick
foot
Smith.
plus.
And Ilgauskas came back, though,
he did.
fortunately.
He came back.
Yeah.
But in this case, they monitor the minutes more for the foot and to a certain extent the back more than they would for this. So he's been around for a while. As you said, he hadn't played very much over the last 3 years. But the point is, he's begging to play. He's saying, I'm ready to play. Why won't you let me play? And I was shocked they didn't at least let him play a few minutes at home as opposed to maybe on the road the next 2 games. So I'm with him, and I don't understand their team mentality here. Are they still trusting the long-term process? Is that what we're doing? Are they game planning for next year and the next year as opposed to right now? To me, the time is now. Now, I picked them to win the East because I keep telling you they remind me of the 1992 Dallas Cowboys, who nobody thought could break through that year, and they broke through a year early just because they were so immensely talented. They made one huge trade right before the season started. They got Charles Haley away from San Francisco, and that put them over the top. But Troy, Emmett, Michael, everybody said, well, they're too young. Well, no, they arrived, and this team felt like, and winning 17 straight games, with the additions of Bellinelli and Ilyasova, not that they're like Charles Haley, but if you throw them, but they're, you know, it gave them veteran presence that they had not had, and all of a sudden they look like the time is now. To me, that's how it feels. But
here's the thing, Skip. The process was we're tanking so we can get better players. That's the process. Now you got those players. It's time to put it to fruition. You got Ben Simmons. You got Joel Embiid. So all that tanking, winning 10 games, not playing some of your better players so you be in better position to get those balls. Okay, that was the process. Now let's see that process come to fruition by letting Joel Embiid get on the court. And look, when you're an athlete, you're ultra competitive, and you like seeing your team do well, but you believe they can always do better if you're in the game. He's like,
I got it. But if I'm running the franchise, I sit back from this and say, wait a second. Is he going to be okay? I think he's going to be okay. He says he's 100%.
No, Skip, you can't think in this situation. Okay. You better know.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you look at the bigger picture right now, maybe I should say look at the little picture right now. They just beat the Cavaliers twice, back-to-back. They just won home court over the Cavaliers. Could they beat the Cavaliers in a 7-game series? Sure they could. But they need Joel Embiid to do that.
Absolutely,
yeah, and I think to answer your question, if it came down to win or lose this series or have Embiid fine going forward, I think they clearly would answer going forward. Remember, they just gave him the 5 years, $148 million. And even for him, Because obviously that contract had, you got to play a certain number of games, stay healthy.
Yep.
So for him, that's better too. And I just don't think a 2-1 hole, I get it. You certainly want to win game 3. It's pivotal. But they could dig themselves out of a 2-1 hole with Embiid.
Yeah.
And I think if he doesn't play tomorrow, I think he's definitely playing Saturday. So I just wouldn't rush him back. I'm with you. Look, he feels like he's ready, but I don't think you can take his word either. I think you have to, because he's young and impulsive and he wants to play.
Strong word that he posted, man. Tired of being
Yeah, but
baby.
he's like that. He's young. He is impulsive.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. To do what they couldn't play to him back-to-back. They couldn't play him back-to-back games. He played an overtime game and he missed like 5. He played a double overtime game against OKC, Skip, and I think he missed next 2 or 3 games.
Foot.
Well, look, big guys and feet, they don't normally get better. Foot and knees for a big guy, Skip. And he's not skinny like your Gauskas. Dude, almost 300. He got to be 300 pounds. So to
big man.
Yeah.
Well.
Sounds like Philly's just a little nervous about the Heat. That's all.
No, look at
I think the last part of the equation is the Heat. Of everything on their list.
She got a Heat jersey. Got Biscayne Barbie on the back of it.
I have 2 Heat jerseys. Chris, thanks for joining us. No mercy. Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. We're back again tomorrow morning at 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.